put this on my channel, so it'd be like a record of why I said what I said, why I chose what I chose. And if anybody's watching, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna put it out there anyway. Look, man, when it comes to decisions, I'm not perfect. I don't make perfect decisions. Obviously, I picked Fury because of obviously emotional attachments to the fighter as well. Because I like the fighter, I like his antics and everything. But I have gotten some right, some really good ones that people kind of downplayed. Wilder Fury, that was one of them. Canelo Bivol, that was another one. A bunch of them. I have gotten a few wrong. I got the fight with the what's his name, Errol Spence and Crawford wrong because I thought Crawford was cheating. But I don't think she's cheating anymore. Because of the Albanesian fight. If that Albanesian fight wasn't around, hey man, I picked Sean Porter to get knocked out by Terence Crawford. So uh, you should take that into account. I would have picked Crawford to win against Errol Spence, and I wouldn't give a shit about the car crash because I didn't give a shit about the car crash when he fought what was that motherfucker's name? The Puerto Rican, um, Danny Garcia, you know, uh, and Ugas. Actually Ugas. I was leaning towards a little bit Ugas, but I chose wrong on that one. I gotta go back on that one. I can't say I took that one properly. But the reason why I'm going with Crawford, and I didn't pick Crawford because I just realized a lot of people have picked Crawford for this fight. I didn't pick Crawford initially. I wasn't sure because of a lot of things, and I was leaning more towards Canelo. I didn't watch anybody's videos. I didn't give a fuck about anybody's videos of who they got, who they don't have, and all this kind of shit. The reason why I'm picking Crawford is because even I recently rewatched again the Skull fight, the Berlanga fight with Canelo, and Munguia. No, I didn't watch, but Munguia's a little too old. I'm gonna go with the Berlanga and Skull. Skull was running. Let's be honest, Skull doesn't do shit. He was running. He genuinely was fucking running. Uh, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. So yeah, I Skull was a runner. I mean, I don't care what any of you fucking guys be talking about. Uh, all these guys, Pablo Pazio, thanks guys, Peggy Wright. I don't know who's Peggy Wright, bro. I never even know these people. But anyways, fuck it. Thanks for being here. And what was I gonna say? So Skull was running. That's 100% sure. Berlanga was a good fight, but Berlanga every time Canelo threw punches, he got tired. He got tired when he throws heavy ass punches. He gets tired. What is your message to the world? Oh, I'm about to put it out there. Anyways, so yeah, every time he threw punches, he got tired. Okay, against Berlanga. That's why Berlanga was capitalizing in certain areas, even though Berlanga's skill set is far apart from Canelo's. He was still having his own, and I think Berlanga actually won some rounds. And it's like how they discredit Munguia fighting Canelo, and I think Munguia did. If it wasn't for that knockdown, he would have pulled it off. Honestly, that's what I believe. I think Munguia should have got the nod if the knockdown wasn't there because he was winning that round. It was a very close fight with Munguia and Canelo. But I think Munguia's fight was also a little bit sus, okay, with Canelo. Berlanga was more of a real fight. Berlanga's fight with Canelo was more realistic than Munguia's with Canelo. And this is why people's minds are already going, why Terence Crawford got a solid shot here? I mean, it's not like a bullshit ass shot. He has a solid shot. When at once before, I never thought he had a shot. I mean, I probably would have given him a shot when he beat Spence because he took some solid shots from Spence, and he just his head didn't even move. But when they saw the Madronov fight, you know, a when they saw the Marginal fight Oh man, he look at. Oh, I watched the Modronov fight again, man. Modronov got beat 8-4. Maybe in some cases you can even say 9-3. I was going 7-5, but if you really look at, you have to give credit where credit due with the body shots that Crawford landed. You can't just sit there and say, "Oh, he almost knocked Modronov out in the last few rounds." I think he was playing a little too cautious with Modronov. He was playing way too cautious. No, not way too. He did the right thing. He played it smart. He played it the right way. It should have been done the way he did it because you're moving into a new weight division. You got to feel it out. But Marginov was weaker than him. Marginov hit weaker than him. Marginov's punch resistance was weaker than him. And on top of that, his skill set was weaker than him. Marginov was outclassed in every aspect. The only reason why Marginov won and the rounds that he won is because he was awkward, is because he did what Dmitry Bivol does, but it was a shittier version of what Dmitry Bivol does to his opponents. And Crawford had a hard time timing it, but when he did, and he got him to the body and he got him all that kind of stuff, he was hurting him. He, and even Marginov says he got hurt more than he got from Virgil Ortiz. And you can even see there's no scars on, like they say, oh, he kept hitting the right hand. He kept hitting the right. Okay, he got hit with the right hand, but did it phase him? Most importantly, Canelo gets hit with right hands all day, all night. He gets hit with jabs all day, all night. Does it phase him? It didn't phase him. I mean, yeah, there was a moment where his chin touched his shoulder. So what? It's a fight. It's gonna happen. Does it phase you? No, it didn't phase Crawford in that fight. That's what people don't get. The punches didn't phase him, and obviously he was the bigger man in the fight, even though he's going from 147 to 154. He was the bigger man, but he was cautious because he's new to the division. But once he realized Marginov got nothing to offer, that's why I said way back in the day, maybe not on my channel, but if there's a second fight with Marginov, he KOs Marginov. It's a wrap. He will KO Marginov, and he would do it in like 7 rounds. He'll catch him. It's new for him, new experience. Well, then again, okay, he's going to 168. It's new for him there too. But you see, the thing is, Canelo. They say, oh, Canelo is not the same thing as Marginov, and he can do the same, or Canelo can do the same thing as Marginov did. Yes and no. And on top of that, Marginov throws a lot more punches than Canelo does. That mysterious punches that he throws and they put him on the conky box doesn't count, man, because he wasn't throwing as much as punches as they were claiming for Munguia, but then they added all these fucking punches that he threw. But he didn't throw that many punches against Munguia. Okay? Yes, Munguia was not the same after he fought him. I can concur, I can agree with that because he got hit with solid shots. Canelo does hit some heavy body shots. I love how he throws his body shots, even though some people think it's sloppy with the lead hand just boom. Well, this is my lead hand. I'm a southpaw. So his lead hand going boom. His is more like this. So he just leans back, bang, and he does that, but he fools him into believing that it's either up or down. So he'll be boom instead, and he cocks it really back. He goes back with his legs. The legs I can't show, but whatever. I don't give a fuck. So what am I saying? I'm saying that he he doesn't throw as much, and he's now at his age. Canelo is an age where Crawford is too, but Crawford doesn't drink. Crawford, neither guy smokes. I'm assuming, but Crawford for sure doesn't. What they're saying, Crawford does not. Uh, Crawford doesn't drink. Crawford doesn't smoke, but Canelo has, and this is the reason why Canelo kind of fades in the later rounds. Okay, I like Canelo. I want Canelo to win, but I don't think he is. And even when they look at each other and face to face, he looks away. He's the one. He's the last to look. He's the first to look away. Canelo. That doesn't look right to me. That matters a lot in fights, especially when you watch, like for example, Daniel Dubois versus Usyk, and even Usyk versus Fury. You look at their faces. Fury stood, but he showed last minute fear. That means he won't. It kind of gives you a perception that he might lose in the decision. He lost, even though I still support my boy. Daniel Dubois couldn't even last 5 seconds staring down fucking Usyk. He just looked away. You know what I mean? This Canelo does the same. When they look at that alpha thing, they look at each other. Canelo's the last one, the first one to look away from Crawford. He knows what he's in for. It's not going to be an easy fight. I'm not saying Crawford goes in there just crushes him. No, I think Crawford has a solid chance to win this fight. 8-4, probably 7-5, and if Turkey's supporting him, he can get it. So what I'm getting at is Canelo, his punch output is not as great. On top of that, yeah, he sets up traps a little bit, but not as good as fucking Crawford would. And he's not as fast with his lead hand. He doesn't really use his lead hand. He uses more of his waist, kind of like a Lomachenko thing, but not exactly, to slip and hit. You know what I mean? But Crawford, that jab is he can flick it out there real quick and then set the fucking backhand. In this case, would be his left hand. He's gonna fight southpaw. I think maybe at some point Crawford would move orthodox, but I think primarily it's gonna be southpaw, and there's gonna be moments where he flickers it and he moves. He does like that's what he was doing on Marginov in certain cases, and not just Marginov. Kabelasky his other tough fight. He flicks it and bam, he will land it. But he will also land it when he opens up. When Canelo opens up with his left, which is this, his left. They're gonna be what they doing that shit? What they call that? Fucking fencing. When when he opens up with his left, he's gonna catch him with the 1-2. This is how he's gonna keep him in check. This is how he's gonna keep Canelo in check. Where his body shots are not gonna get to the target, and if they do, they're not gonna have enough sting behind those punches that he throws to the body. So I've this is my belief. If anything can happen, it's boxing. I believe that he's gonna keep him in check. He's when they talk about his defense. Oh, Crawford's defense is shit. I agree. When he's not on, uh, what's the word? He's not he's not focused. When he's not focused, you watch that 10th round against Sean Porter. All through the entire like the first 9 rounds, Sean Porter was tagging him here and there. Nothing serious, but tagging him here and there. When they told his ass, "You're losing. You're behind," he fucking switched on like fucking no tomorrow. He switched on so good that Crawford couldn't even. I mean, Porter couldn't even land a single shot on that 10th round. He clipped him going backwards, bang, right on the button. You mean to tell me, and not a single shot? To me, honestly, fuck the Errol Spence win. That Sharp Porter win was much greater in value to me because he knocked out a guy that's never been knocked out. He dropped him twice and they waved it off, and it would have been even worse if his father didn't step in. Uh, that was the way better win than anything that Terrence has ever done because that was like the most switched we ever seen Terrence. The most switched. Even with Errol Spence, he was switched, but he was kind of cruise control. That's why he got hit with some right hands. That was cruise control, Terrence Crawford. The 10th round with Sean Porter, that was the most switched. That's the type of Terrence we got to see against Canelo. And if he steps like that in the first, you know, even the 7 rounds, there could be even a possibility of there could be even a possibility of Crawford knocking down or stopping Canelo, which is insane, but it is true. I don't put my money on that, but I put more on a decision because I think Canelo is very tough, and when he gets a high guard on, he can parry and he can resist. And then if that doesn't work and he gets tired, when he gets tired, he starts doing this shit, avoiding shots and slipping around and all that kind of. When he gets tired, that's what he does. So this is his Canelo's problem. He gets tired early and he's getting even more tired now. He's getting even more tired now because he's older. Before, when let's say he would get tired in, let's say if he maximum effort, he would get probably tired in 6 or 7 rounds, right? Now he's getting tired in the first four. After the first four, and Bomac sees this. I'm not a big fan of Bomac, bro. I'm not like those, I don't give a shit. But they see it. They see after the fourth round, this fool getting tired. But it's more than just him getting tired. There's things that they can take advantage of when it comes down to Canelo, and and his foot movement, his reflexes are not really fucked up. It's his conditioning that's gone out the window a little bit. It's not as that's why he couldn't stop a guy like Berlanga. This is the reason why. Not Munguia. Munguia threw a lot of volume. Munguia was not the guy that you easily just stop. You know what I mean? It's it's a thing that Berlanga that he should have stopped. Okay, Berlanga was the dude that needed to be stopped. Okay, and Berlanga wasn't because he was there to get hit. He was there to do all everything was present for Canelo to do what he needed to do, being the better, sharper boxer. But he got tired, and then he resorted to block, parry punch, and all that kind of stuff. You know, catch and shoot and type of stuff like that, or body shots all day, 1-2. You know, not 1-2. Just more like what would you consider a body shot? Body shot would be probably like a so if this 1, 2, 3, a five, and so the body shot with the lead hand is the five, and let's say 1-3, or you know, sorry 5-3, sorry 5-3, something like that. You know what I mean? He resorted to that, or just 5-6. You know, to the body. And to me, you know, it's that's not good enough to beat Crawford, man. Even if you have power. Oh, defense. Oh, we're talking about defense. The defense, when Crawford is locked in, like I told you guys, he would make it very, very, very hard for Canelo to touch him. And if he does touch him, it's not like Crawford is gonna crumble under this immense power, punching power that Canelo has. No, because a lot of that power is going to be deflected. A lot of that power is going to be either completely missed or, you know, it's just not going to be on it. But one thing's for sure, Canelo's going to get tired. And that's what Dimitri Bivol did to him, too, by the way. Dimitri Bivol did the same exact fucking thing. Dimitri Bivol got Canelo tired. Every time, that's why do you think he could have just kept him on this? No, no, no. He made it even easier. He could have kept him on the jab and just leave him by there. And that's it. He made it even easier for him. So what did he do? So what did he do? He told him, come on, buddy. And he just did this. And he let him whack him. Bang, bang, you know, just bang, uppercut, bang, you know, all this shit. He made him do all that stuff. Got him tired. And it became even easier to then control him because he was tired after four. Bivol saw that. And now Crawford's team is seeing the same thing, and they're gonna exploit it. I'm not saying Crawford is better than Bivol. No, Bivol's feet is better than Crawford's on a cruise control way, in a relaxed way. But when Crawford's fucking turned on, nah, I think Crawford's better than Bivol when Crawford is turned on. But Crawford's not always on turned on. He's got usually cruise control sometimes. You know, all this kind of stuff. He's not always that. But against Canelo, he would be turned on for like a good stretch of a long period of the fight because this is a major fight. He's gonna try to be at his peak, at his best, at least a long stretch of the fight. Some fights he might do what Williams. Some rounds he might do what William Skull did, but he's not a runner. William Skull is a runner, and whoever thought William Skull won that fight you don't know what you're looking at. You're fucking I don't know, man. You don't know boxing. I'll just say that much. And I know a lot of people think he got skill. William Skull does not have skill. Maybe he was told. I heard something about he was told not to hurt Canelo, but that's ridiculous. I don't think that's true. Anyhow, so Crawford, I think, is how can I say? Crawford is going to win, and he might win split because of the fact that they don't want to disgrace Canelo, you know, and they don't want to. He's a cash cow, and I like Canelo, man. It's sad to see how things turn out, but Crawford will beat him because he's catching him in the right time. If this was Canelo fighting after the Golovkin, even after the Dimitri Bivol loss, he came out even sharper because he improved on the loss with Dimitri Bivol. If it was that time, which was literally 3 years ago, I would pick Canelo to win, and possibly even by stoppage. possibly. Canelo by stoppage, possibly. It's not out of the out of the possibility. If it was that Canelo, but this is a different Canelo. This is a Canelo that's fighting low opposition. This is a Canelo that he's getting tired faster. That a lot of all those fights took a toll on him, and Crawford's coming as fresher, and Crawford's not going to put on weight. This is another thing that you guys don't understand. Crawford is not going to put on weight. Crawford doesn't need to put on weight. Crawford already a marginal fight was probably walking around at 160, fighting at 168 or 170 or something like that in a marginal fight. He doesn't need to put weight on. He's already got the weight. He needs to just sharpen, go through the game plan, rinse and repeat, go through, sharpen his techniques, rinse and repeat, spar with guys that are similar to him. I think sadly Virgil Ortiz would have been a good thing to his sparring. Uh, just like if Boots Ennis went to Canelo, then Virgil Ortiz should have gone to fucking Terence Crawford and imitate Canelo over there. It would be good because we want to see the best fight the best. We want to see two greats fighting each other. Hi, Anthony. Um, so we want to see these two guys, two of the best fighting each other. We don't want to see if Virgil Ortiz goes over there and helps Crawford out, and you have Boots helping out Canelo. That's perfect because that's we're gonna see the best possible matchup. We don't want to see somebody that's not quite at his peak fighting somebody that is possibly at his peak. I prefer fair matchups. I prefer the fairness in any kind of game, sport, whatever it is. I prefer fair and not like advantages like certain people had, like Mayweather had over Canelo by also having a rehydration clause on it. That is not good. And if Crawford beats Canelo, he outshines Mayweather. By the way, Mayweather at this point, based on opposition, you could say Mayweather is definitely better than him. But in resume wise, but I think honestly, if Mayweather ever fought Crawford at 147, Mayweather would probably got beat up and lost on a decision against Crawford because offensively, Crawford is on a different stratosphere compared to not a different level. I won't say different stratosphere, different level compared to Mayweather. Defensively, no. Offensively, yes. Okay. Defensively, no. Offensively, yes. Defensively, though, when he's switched, he the thing is his offense makes up for his defense. Whatever he can do with his feet to avoid shots, and then counter with his lead hand or backhand or sorry, yeah, lead hand or backhand, it makes up for him lacking on the defensive aspect of what Mayweather had. But that's another thing. He hits he hits a lot harder than Mayweather. People don't know how hard this dude hits. He has a punch on him. And this is why a lot of these Bud fans would think that he's going to catch Canelo. And it's going to hurt him and it's going to be devastating. I cannot sit there and say that is a real reality, but it can be because of one specific thing. Yes, Golovkin hit harder than dude. Golovkin is the hardest puncher that Canelo ever faced. Harder than Bivol. He doesn't. Golovkin don't hit as hard as Pietrdev, but he hits harder than Bivol does. He hits harder than a lot of. I don't care what Bivol says. He does not hit harder than Canelo. Doesn't hit harder than Pietrdev. It's a joke. Okay, that's humor. I like that. It's funny, but thing does it. What's his name? Crawford hits really hard. But the thing is, he doesn't hit as hard as Golovkin does. But let's just say if Golovkin, this is my perception. If let's say Golovkin is 100%, Crawford, one punch at a time. Is the best punch. Say I don't know. Crawford's would be probably, I think his right hook or something is probably the most devastating. Okay, where he sets it up and that's my person. He got a lot of good heavy punches, but let's just say one punch, whatever punch it is. Let's just say Crawford hits. Golovkin hits 100%. That's the top. Crawford is like probably around 75, close to 80, maybe closer than that. He is not too far away. But where it makes a difference is where Golovkin hits one, Crawford might land one, two, three, four. Do you understand the difference? It will be more than one punch that will connect on Canelo, who is pretty much most of the time like this and doing all this shit. You know what I mean? Parrying, moving his waist. If he's not fast enough and he gets clipped doing all these things, even the head movement when he moves his head this way or that way, if he that means he's tired. He does that, he gets hit one side, gets clipped in the other side, and then he hits in the body. Crawford moves out of the way. This will add up, and then eventually you have yourself a fucking possible TKO in the later rounds for Crawford. And the weight is not gonna. This is not gonna happen. I'm not saying this is gonna happen for sure. I'm not sure. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. I'm going with decision because that's what I think is gonna happen. When I assessed it, reassessed it, everything. But this is a possibility because boxing, you don't know, and then guys get old overnight and all that kind of stuff. This is a possibility. This is a possibility that I think Canelo might. It's crossing his mind that he got to be careful with his defense because he can't. This is Canelo's coming up from way when you look at his career is 140 and up. Crawford's coming 135 and up. He's gonna be a little bit sharper. He's gonna be a little bit more thing tuned in. This is the reason why a lot of people think that Crawford's gonna win too because he's gonna where those big guys could take the blunt of the punches. This guy might not take the blunt of the punches. This is not Charlo. Okay, Charlo, it was an easy picking. Whoever had Charlo, like Teddy Atlas, who thought fucking Charlo was gonna win, that is not a realistic thing. Charlo had no chance against winning against Canelo, but this dude does. I'm not saying Canelo has absolutely no chance of beating him. Canelo also has a chance. Canelo can hit him in the body, can hit him in the head. He can take him out. But the fact that he gets tired after 4 rounds, he has to stop him. If he doesn't stop him, and this dude, and his competitive nature, he will add on points. Even if he doesn't have to, if he makes boy and ass fight, he will add on points to the 12. He has to stop Crawford. If he doesn't stop him, it's going to be jab, move out the way, jab, move out the way, jab, move out the way, jab, you caught closer, boom, move out the way, boom. And because he's got a reach advantage over him that is literally 4 inches. 4 inches. Golovkin had the same reach as Canelo. You know, Dimitri Bivol, in some cases, had the same reach as Canelo. I think it's the same. I could be mistaken, maybe a little bit off here and there, but they're very much alike. This guy's a 4 inch reach advantage, and his hand speed is faster than Dimitri Bivol's. Even Dimitri Bivol is being so fast, it don't matter. His hand speed is faster than Dimitri Bivol's, and he's as good as Dimitri Bivol is with his jab. I gotta say Crawford's jab is better because he can do a lot more with his jab. Dimitri Bivol is very good, much better with his feet, in my opinion, overall than Crawford is. Let's say if it's Crawford, this is Dimitri Bivol right up there, a little bit more because he's sharper and better at it with his feet. But Crawford's jab is better than Dimitri Bivol's because Crawford has ways of throwing punches that go around his opponent's fucking punch. When they throw it, he goes around it, literally loses a loop and goes behind the shoulder. They don't even see that shit coming. They go through, bang, right at the back of the ear, not to the back of the head, right there. You know what I mean? He gets them right there, and he wobbles their fucking senses. I'm not saying that's gonna be in the thing end all be all, but that's one of the things that this guy does, and it can work against Canelo. It can very well make, but the most important thing is the jab. The jab is gonna make him reset over and over again. And Canelo got good feet, man. As I said, his reflexes aren't bad. His feet movement isn't that all that bad. He's kind of slower and everything, all that shit uh, compared to Crawford, but he gets tired. He could probably move his feet all day, all night long, throughout the entire round. But his hands, after he throws massive sledgehammer fucking punches, he's gassed out for good stretches of the fucking round, bro. And this is where Crawford shines. This is where Crawford's gonna fuck him. If he misses, he's gonna and he gets paid. He's not paid. He gets punished for those misses. He will fucking bro. This is gonna be a nightmare as the fight continues for Canelo. This is what's gonna happen, and this is why Crawford. I saw another guy talking about this, and it's kind of reminding me of Fury versus Usyk situation. This is why Canelo asked for more money against Crawford. Why would you ask a lot of money? You ask the same amount of money you asked for Benavidez. I get Benavidez is young, he might beat you and all this kind of stuff. Why did you ask the same amount of money, or approximately the same amount of money? One guy I mentioned, I forgot. No credit. What's his name? No credit. No. Bud Crawford gets no credit for beating Canelo Alvarez. That guy's channel. You know, he said it. You go watch him. He's very in tune. His predictions are way better than mine would ever be. So he said the same thing. Like I was like, yeah, you make sense. Like Fury asked for a lot of money. I think Fury wasn't afraid from Usyk. He just wanted a lot of money. He wanted to fight, but he wanted to get paid for it. You know. But Canelo, on the other hand, Canelo asked for a shit ton of money for Benavidez. 250 million. Remember, Fury only got 100 million for Fury for the Usyk fights. 100 something million. 250 million for Benavidez. And another 200 million for Crawford. Why? If you're such an easy guy to beat, why? Yeah, like ask for 100 million, bro. Like, or even 80 million. You know that this guy got money. He wants to see the fight. Why? Because he feels like Crawford can beat him. This is my belief. You don't and not it was my belief based on what I saw on someone else's channel that I watched. Same thing with Fury. I think Fury was the same shit. Fury believed that Usyk might have a chance to beat him. This is why he overpriced himself. So Canelo does the same thing, but nobody's talking about this shit. About why Canelo overpriced himself against Crawford. Oh, he played the game, bro. He didn't do that shit with Mungia. He didn't do that shit with fucking John Ryder. I mean, he didn't do that shit with fucking a whole bunch of guys that he fought. He hasn't done that. He's doing it against Benavidez. We all know that Benavidez is a serious competition, and he does it with he's doing that with Crawford, which means there's a huge threat with Crawford. And I just realized this shit that he did. Well, I won't say I just realized. I kind of realized why he's asking, because his movements were kind of cowardly like for asking that much money to fight Crawford back then, months back. I was like, maybe he's trying to manipulate Shake, the Turkey Al Shake, but he's nah. He was trying to overprice himself out so he doesn't fight Crawford. It's a dangerous fight, man. Let's be honest. It's a seriously fucked up, dangerous fight for Mr. Canelo. Canelo is is in for it for this one, bro. Hopefully he wins, man. You know, but because I am a Bud Crawford fan, but I don't want to go into the details why. I want my boy to win. You know, just like how black people support black people. You know, I'm not being racist here. I like both of them though. I don't care who wins, but I prefer Canelo to win. You know what I mean? You know, it's just it's common sense. Would you don't go against that demographic. You know, but I don't really care honestly. Whoever wins wins. The best man win. That's why I'll be still a huge fan of both guys. The thing is, um, Crawford got what it takes to beat him. Okay, he does. He got no fear like the other guys did. The other guys feared his power. I don't think Crawford's gonna fear Canelo's power. And they say, "Oh, what if his punches don't phase him?" Uh, Billy Joe. Do you guys think Billy Joe Saunders had a lot more power than Crawford? I don't think so. I don't think Billy Joe. But he he busted his face up. He busted it, but that's a see the thing is that's a Canelo that was much more fresher. That was a Canelo that's much more powerful. Everything, yeah, Mexican meat and everything. The one that fought Billy Joe Saunders, that was a better uh, Canelo when he fought Billy Joe Saunders. This Canelo is, dude. To be honest with you, even though he was moving, his feet were moving, and he was landing shots on William Skull, he looked old. He looked like a grandpa. And I'm not saying anything about just his movement. I'm saying just this physicality up and down. And but then I said, okay, maybe that was just. When I looked at Berlanga, bro, after he threw those wailing fucking punches, he was tired, and Berlanga capitalized. He got him going backwards, landing shots. And Berlanga, as big as Berlanga is, I don't think he hits with enough sting and pop as Crawford does. Charlo, as big as Charlo is, Charlo ran from Crawford to fight Canelo, and I don't care what anybody says. That was a big fight with Charlo and Crawford. He ran, and I saw. I did still didn't care, but I said, I said anyway, man. He ran from fucking Crawford to fight Canelo so he could avoid Crawford. And he was nowhere to be found for a couple of years. You know why he was nowhere to be found? Because Crawford was still in 154, even though negotiations were going down with Canelo. He was still at 154, and he wanted that ass. He wanted to beat that ass. Well, I don't give a shit. He might say, "Oh, I don't want the leftovers of Canelo." He still wanted Charlo. He still wanted that guy. Okay, and that's why you didn't see Charlo anywhere. But now when Crawford fight with Canelo is on, and there's no looking back, Charlo's out there. Oh, I'm gonna tear up this guy. I'm gonna tear up thing. What's his name? I'm gonna tear up Ben. Not what's the what the fuck the Muratsvala, whatever his fucking name is, the Eastern European dude that knocked out Tim Tszyu. Uh, he's gonna tear him up. He's gonna tear up Fandora. He's gonna tear up Virgil Ortiz. He's gonna tear up fucking uh, Crawford if he ever comes back down to 54 and all. This is what fucking Charlo's talking about because he was terrified to fight with fucking. He was terrified to fight fucking thing, Terrence Crawford, and this I knew not watching other people. I felt like that was a duck too, and he went for a bigger fight because he knew he was gonna lose against Crawford. If you were that confident, you would have fought Crawford, not just lose. He, some guy said it, because I never looked at them in the ring. I just never imagined them in the ring. But looking at it, he would have got a bigger beating than what he got from Canelo if he fought Terrence. He would have got stopped if he fought Crawford instead of Charlo, and he would have been way worse than what Errol Spence ended up. And people are saying, oh, because the car crash. Yeah, I picked Errol Spence, and I thought the car crash made a fucking difference. But reality, the car crash didn't make a difference because it can make a difference a little bit. Obviously, it make his fucking residual damage and all this fucking nonsense they be talking about. Yeah, but it's not it, man. Crawford, you know that deadlift he's doing, 400 fucking pounds. I guarantee you, Mr. Errol Spence can't even do probably more than 300. That's maximum. 400, and I think Crawford could go way over that. He is not just that, strong as fuck, just a stronger individual. That's why when this is what I wanted. This is the reason why I wanted to make another video, but about this shit. But right before the fight happens between Canelo and Terrence Crawford, there's one important thing that I always wanted to say uh, about Terrence Crawford and also about Errol Spence and Canelo. These three guys, and keep in mind, I did kind of feel like Crawford could beat Canelo too when he beats Errol Spence. Why? Because he's the strength, bro. It was ridiculous. He got hit and he just didn't phase him. Even other guys who would phase him. Errol's bigger, naturally bigger than Canelo, by the way. But I'm not saying he hits as hard as Canelo. No, but he's a big dude, and leverage matters when he throw punches. Even though he might not throw as hard as Golovkin or Canelo, that leverage should phase you at least a little bit, right? No phase whatsoever. He took those punches like he was. Crawford looked like he was on one. He looked like he belonged in 168 or 160, 160 or 168. And I know the guys that make the argument of what if Crawford fought Golovkin. Could Crawford beat Golovkin? I say no. Crawford cannot beat Golovkin because styles make fights. Just like Tommy Hearns, sorry, when he fought the Cuban, what's his name? Uh, there's Hagler, there was Hearns, and then there's fucking the one that I like more honestly, the Cuban. What's his fucking name, man? Oh god, I can't believe I forgot this Hall of Famer's fucking name. Anyways, Leonard, and then you got Leonard, you got Hagler, and then you got Tommy Hearns, and you got fucking Hands of Stone. What's his fucking name, bro? Roberto Duran. Okay, Roberto Duran didn't last 2 rounds against fucking Tommy Hearns. Okay, he couldn't. He just got knocked the fuck out. But he went 12 rounds with fucking Hagler. So you went 12 rounds with Hagler, couldn't last 2 rounds against Hearn. Okay, same. It's the same. It's a style matchup. And what I'm telling you is, Golovkin would beat someone like Terence Crawford, would stop him. But Terence is stylistically, they say tailor made for Canelo. Sorry, opposite. Canelo's tailor made for fucking Terence Crawford because high guard, moving forward, step forward. He still got quick enough feet to go back and forth, but not quick enough to avoid the jab and whatever comes from that jab afterwards. If there's a flicker or jab, move out the way because he's got the longer reach and he's fast and he got power. He's faster with his hands than Canelo is. He's faster with his feet than Canelo is. He's faster with his hands than Canelo is. And he can take a punch better than the guys that the last few guys that Canelo fought. To say that much, he can take a punch better than the other guys that he fought. Except for Golovkin and maybe Dimitri Bivol and uh, better than Mayweather. He can take a better shot than Mayweather. That's for sure. I mean that was years back, but I'm talking about most recent 5 years, 6 years, bro. Fights where he's up in the 160 to 168 region. I'm not talking about 175. These areas, okay? He can take a better punch than a lot of these dudes. And when he switched on, as I said, when he switched on, he's better defensively than all of them, including probably Mayweather. Yes, that's a little bit calling stretch, but he is. You know what I mean? What was I gonna say? I was gonna bring the animal aspect of this fight when it comes to Errol Spence, Canelo, and Terence Crawford. Canelo is the bear. He keeps talking about, oh, I'm the bear, right? He's the bear, okay? Errol always represented himself as a lion. He did this shit all the time, right? He just sweep back and shit, did all this stuff. Have you noticed that stuff? He was the lion, okay? He was the lion. And I know this is kind of funny because it's like bringing Animal Planet to boxing, but this is how these guys like imagine themselves to be. Canelo's the bear, Errol's the lion. You know, Canelo hugs the tree and shit. Lion is Errol Spence. The tiger is Terence Crawford. He moves just like, I'm not gonna say he moves like just like a tiger, but it's not like that. It's nowhere. But it's in the perception. That's what it is because he goes on his hind leg. Tigers do that shit, and they swipe downwards and they move out the way. Lions, when they fight, they tuck their head down and they go in just like Arrow would, and they just do this shit while on the bottom. body shots, like how Errol would go down and go bang, bang, bang. He would do that shit. That's what fucking. Uh, that's what fucking Errol's. That's why. That's how he represents the lion, and he. That's why lions only. Charlos were never lions. Errol was the lion. Errol was the lion who fucking drank his way down to the tube as well. You know what I mean? Drank, crashed his car, STDs, all kinds of fuck shit. You know what I mean? Terrence, I wanted to say this shit back then when he lost. Errol lost to Terrence Crawford, but I made videos with clips, and you know, I got copyright fucking claims and shit, and that's the reason why I couldn't do it. I had the video ready and everything. I posted it up, copyright. Like fuck this, I'm not gonna do this video. You know what I mean? So this is the reason why, you know, um, this is the reason why I'm doing it now because the fight's with Canelo coming up. Canelo got the bear aspect too. I got to turn the AC on, man. It's hot here. Canelo got the bear aspect. He's kind of moving like a bear. And when fights come out with the bears and tigers, you know what I mean? Most of the time, the tiger wins. Not all the time. Big bears. Which is in the case of Canelo, he's the bigger man, apparently. He is the bigger man. Not because of fucking height and shit. He's got a bigger waist. I think his waist is bigger. That's what makes him a bigger man because he throws punches. It's, ultimately, he's in a bigger weight division. That's the only reason why, realistically, it's not about the height and all that kind of stuff. He's in a bigger weight division. He's been comfortable with that division. Crawford's just moving in. So we call him bigger man for those of you. That's why even when the bear is bigger than the tiger is, they still lose because of a lot of things, not just the fact of how the tiger fights. It's about the muscles, how much more tension and strength that they have pound for pound. And Crawford is the tiger. Crawford is the tiger. Canelo's the bear, and Errol Spence was the lion. Lion was extinguished. Then you have Canelo, who will be extinguished by the tiger. That's which is Terence Crawford. Canelo's the bear. This is my belief. I think the way Canelo fights is, in certain ways you say Canelo fights just like a fucking lion would, but not realistically, because bears when they fight they go lethargic. They just come up to each other like lethargic and shit, and then they start swiping, boom, boom, boom. That's exactly what Canelo does, in a tactical way, moving his feet, and that would still not work against someone like Terence Crawford because Terence fast hind legs tiger Terence is gonna walk him straight into bang bang, move out the way, and if he throws his shot, he might even land another one, bang bang, and move out the way. Exactly, it's not just bang bang, move out the way before Canelo throws. It's bang bang, move out the way. He throws bang bang, move out the completely other way, and then if he shows weakness, he can go more. If not, reset, continue. This is a possibility that's gonna happen to Mr. Canelo, and this is what his fans should be worried about. That's, you know, yes, it's a guy moving up two-weight division. There's guys that went up in two-weight divisions. Leonard, Sugar Ray Leonard, and he won against Hagler. We this is our, even though some people think Leonard lost against Hagler, it's a possibility. I probably think so too. I think maybe Leonard did lose against Hagler. They just give him decision. This might be the same fucking situation. Same situation with Canelo versus same situation with Canelo versus fucking Crawford. You know what I mean? It might be the same situation. Crawford might not win this fight, and they might still give it to him. That's also a thing. But he'll make a good account of himself. That's also a thing too. I'm not gonna take that away. The robbery is still a fucking scenario. But something tells me it's not even gonna be a robbery. I think Crawford's gonna make a definitive win, more of a definitive win than Leonard probably did against Hagler, because that was not a definitive win. It was very close, in my opinion. I think this uh, might be a definitive win because of, see, Hagler was a guy that moves around. He was not stationary. He was a lot of movement, a lot of things. He didn't get really tired as the fucking fight went on. Canelo gets tired, and this is the main reason. Canelo's a great fucking Hall of Famer. Even if he loses this fight, doesn't matter, man. He's fucking great, man. I love the guy. But it doesn't. This fucking shit don't matter when you get tired after like 4 rounds. Because trust me, he will get tired in this fight in 4 rounds. And no, Crawford ain't quitting after a few shots to the body or anything like that. Even if those shots even land properly, if they don't land in his arm, you know, if you land on his arm and shit, or he does this, blocks it and just it's not gonna be it's not gonna phase him as much. He's gonna continue fighting. He's People fucking don't understand that Crawford is not putting on weight to fight against this dude. And this is another thing that they fucking misconceive, that they think that he was gonna put on weight so he's gonna get tired of later part of the fight. He's not gonna get tired because he's not putting on weight to get tired. He's using the same weight he fought against Madronov, but probably stronger, much stronger. And he doesn't have to cut weight to 154, so he's going to be more fresher coming into a fight with Canelo, who probably is going to do the same thing because he walks around 182, Canelo, to finish the fight at 168. It's the same jazz, bro. Like they're both pretty much the same thing, you know. But if this was the Canelo that fought Bivol, if they fought after, let's just say Bivol beat him, and then Terence Crawford decided to fight him right after that, Terence would got beat up. If this was any other time before 3 years, I would say more like a year and a half. Any other time before that, I would definitely go with Canelo. But yeah, and depending on how good Crawford does, there might be a matchup for him to fight Dimitri Bivol, which would be insane, but it's a possibility. I would love to see that. That would be fucking immense. That would be fucking awesome to see. But we don't know. Anyways, this is Gypsy. That's all I had to say. I really wanted to put this out for years, and I didn't want to. I could not. I was waiting for the right time, I guess. Crawford is a tiger. Canelo is the bear. Errol Spence was the lion. Fighting style wise, that's what they were. That's what they are. That's what they represent. Even maybe Crawford doesn't think of himself as a tiger, but that's what he is. Hind legs, bang, 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 move out the way. You know what I mean? That's what tigers do. Just go up and just bang, bang, move out the way. Crawford's fights, the majority of the time, he's on the hind leg. Canelo's fights, front foot. Uh, Bear goes front foot. Errol Spence, front foot. Always on the front foot, going body shots and all that kind of shit. Anyways, that adios. I'm gonna go turn on the fucking AC. I'm out. How you turn this fucking shit off again? Forget how to do this.